need sleep when there are all these terrifying films to binge watch? Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 scariest horror movies on Netflix.
Yes, and now, Clarice. Poor little Catherine is waiting.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at the spookiest and most disturbing horror films available on American Netflix as of March 2019. We won't be including series, even though The Haunting of Hill House did scare the bejesus out of us. Number 10, The Sixth Sense.
I see dead people.
Sure, its twist ending and the iconic line, "I see dead people," may now be common knowledge and the stuff of parody. But don't let its cultural legacy fool you. The Sixth Sense remains a thoroughly terrifying film, even decades after its release. A young Haley Joel Osment plays Cole, a boy who can see and hear dead people. As you can imagine, this provides ample opportunities for terrifying moments, not just in the form of jump scares, but also long, drawn-out encounters with the dead that will have you sleeping with the lights on.
Cole, you're scaring me.
They scare me too sometimes.
Emotional and creative, but nonetheless sure to get your heart racing, The Sixth Sense is well worth revisiting.
I don't want to be scared anymore.
Number 9, Hush. We often overlook the importance of sound in cinema. In the horror genre specifically, it provides a particularly interesting opportunity to get creative in terms of scares. In the 2016 film Hush, a deaf-mute woman named Maddie, living in an isolated area, becomes the target of a nameless male killer. It is a rather straightforward slasher/home invasion film, but a very well-executed one that's further elevated by the performances of its two leads.
I bet if I hit the right spot, I can make you scream.
Further distinguishing the film is its handling of sound and silence, which it uses to crank up the tension to a fever pitch. Number 8, Veronica.
Veronica? Veronica? Hola.
Young teen girl, Ouija board, demonic possession, an alleged true story, Veronica is a film with a lot of familiar elements. But trust us when we say that in the case of this particular movie, those add up to something memorable and truly terrifying. A Spanish-language film set in Madrid in 1991, Veronica follows the titular heroine as she succumbs to the influence of a demonic force after partaking in a seance during a solar eclipse.
Mira, ¿lo has movido tú?
The relationship between Veronica and her siblings gives the film a real emotional core, while director Paco Plaza's experienced hand ensures a heavy and consistent dose of fear. Number 7, The Autopsy of Jane Doe.
What's that for?
Make sure he's dead.
This is a real gem of a film that far too many people have overlooked due to its limited release. But it is a solid, unnerving, and thoroughly surprising movie that any genre enthusiast would do well to check out. The presence of the word autopsy might lead viewers to believe that they're signing up for a gore fest, but it's actually more of a slow-burning horror. When a father-son team of coroners, played by Brian Cox and Emile Hirsch, examine the mysterious body of an unidentified woman, they begin to experience strange and disturbing occurrences. As things go from creepy to downright terrifying, you'll find yourself sucked into this tailspin of fear right alongside them. Number 6, Gerald's Game.
This is gonna be good for us, Jess, really good.
Before director Mike Flanagan gave us the excellent Netflix original horror series The Haunting of Hill House, he proved himself on the streaming service with his adaptation of the Stephen King novel Gerald's Game. Just the basic premise is enough to give you nightmares. A couple, Gerald and Jesse, attempt to rekindle their relationship with a romantic weekend getaway. Unfortunately, during some forceful roleplay, things go from bad to worse when Gerald has a fatal heart attack, leaving Jesse handcuffed to the bed. Equal parts fascinating and terrifying, the film is a psychological horror that stands out from the crowd.
Not real. Not real.
Number 5, Poltergeist.
They're here.
A true classic of the genre, Poltergeist continues to be an effective horror film, even many years after its initial release. It tells the story of the Freelings, a family from Orange County, California, that finds their home invaded by malevolent forces that torment them and abduct their young daughter. Blending conventions of sci-fi and the supernatural, Poltergeist feels distinct even when treading what's since become well-worn ground. Of course, in the years since the first film was released, the franchise has been plagued by death, mishaps, and strange occurrences, giving birth to the myth of the Poltergeist curse, and adding a whole new dimension to the scares.
Caroline! Listen to me! Do not go into the light!
Number 4. Terrifier.
Punctuality is the thief of time, dear.
Honestly, the name doesn't come anywhere close to preparing viewers for the exercise in revulsion and terror that comes with watching this film. Terrifier follows Art the murderous clown as he mercilessly maims, mutilates, and dismembers numerous innocent victims. It feels like it was ripped straight out of the 80s and is gratuitously violent in a way that will scare away all but the most ardent gorehounds. There are many people who feel it actually crosses a line, but if you're looking for a tense and disturbing slasher, Terrifier lives up to its name multiple times over. Number 3. The Silence of the Lambs.
I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
This movie requires little introduction. It's the only horror film to ever claim the Oscar for Best Picture and is among a handful of movies to have swept the top 5 categories at the Academy Awards. The Silence of the Lambs stays with you long after the credits have rolled because its villains are rooted in reality. These iconic silver screen killers are the sort of people who could very well exist. And that's a possibility that haunts the viewers better than most ghost stories.
It rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
Yes, Buffalo Bill has aged poorly in terms of issues of gender identity, but The Silence of the Lambs still has a lot to offer, including major scares.
No, that is incidental.
Number 2. The Witch.
Forgive me. Show me mercy.
This 2016 film bucks the trend of modern mainstream horror. For starters, it's a period piece set in 17th century New England. And, as any horror enthusiast will tell you, period piece horror isn't an easy nut to crack. Despite the odds, though, writer and director Robert Eggers overcame this self-imposed obstacle with ease to deliver a truly remarkable and terrifying experience. The Witch is short on jump scares, instead evoking a much deeper sense of horror from its audience. A sort of looming and enduring feeling of discomfort and existential dread that works its way under your skin and refuses to let go.
I beg thee, save our children.
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
Should we go? Now? We have the gun. I guess.
Yes.
It was here.
Number 1. The Conjuring.
We have to get out of here.
I'm afraid that's not gonna help.
Directed by James Wan, The Conjuring is a critically acclaimed horror film that has since given birth to a movie universe. After having left his mark on the torture porn genre with the influential Saw franchise, Wan gave us one of the best haunted house films in recent decades. The Conjuring follows real-life husband and wife paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, played to perfection by Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga.
I can't lose you.
You won't. Let's finish this together.
The story takes them to Harrisville, Rhode Island, where the Perrin family is being targeted by a malevolent spirit. It's an old-fashioned horror film that nicely balances scares with anxious anticipation, all held together by a cast of characters you really come to care about.
Nancy?
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.